All right, many thanks for staying with us. We quickly go into our talking point. My guests are already seated, and what we're looking at this morning is the 2023 elections, the roles of Nigeria's elder statesmen. And these men, they have been on the political scene for a while now, and they've actually carved a niche for themselves. Let me start by introducing Barrister Matthew Idiagase. He's a Benin-based legal practitioner and a political pundit. Good morning, Barrister.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome on board. And sitting next to him is Bishop Dr. Akhaleme. He's a two-time governorship candidate of those states and, of course, a political analyst. Good morning, Bishop.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome on board. Bishop, you are a bishop that owns a church, or a bishop? Is he your name, or?
It's my name.
Okay, I was thinking it's a title. All right, let's quickly go into our talking points. INEC has already set the ball rolling for 2023 general election. What should we expect, Barrister?
What we expect is to be prepared to discharge our civic responsibility as citizens of this nation. First, I assume most of us are registered voters with our PVC in our hands. And when the campaign proper starts, it's our duty also to participate in the electoral processes, from the electioneering campaign to the voting proper. That is what is expected of us as citizens who are responsible. We should take charge of our destiny. We should not stand aloof and watch things happen politically. We should be part of what makes it happen, and it should happen the way we want it. And that can only happen or be brought about through active participation in all the electoral processes.
Okay.
That is what is expected of us.
Okay. Now, what shape should the election take, Bishop, now, considering the Electoral Act that was signed into law? What shape do you think the election would take?
Well, if you look at what happened in Osho State, that one is already a template for INEC. That this election, the 2023 election, will be different from the elections that have happened in Nigeria in the past, because everybody is interested in this election. It must be free and fair and credible. And when the people go to the field to vote, their vote must count. These are the shape we must take. But let me tell you this, that if you check what is happening now, because of the troubles we have passed through in the last 7 years, and the factors that have affected Nigeria's growth and development, everybody, even those who do not have voters card now, are now looking for their voters card, because there's need for us to change narratives. Nigeria is too big for few people to hold captive, bringing poverty, frustration to the people. Because I cannot imagine that today in a country like this, the students are still at home today. Many of our youth who graduated a long time ago, they are still in the streets. There are no jobs, poverty everywhere. We don't even have good roads. Those who are supposed to fix these roads, what is happening? They now use choppers. They don't even know whether we have deployable roads in Nigeria. The most worrisome, insecurity. People are being killed, maimed every day, kidnapped every day. And today, what we are seeing today is unimaginable. The inflation. Our money has no value anymore. So don't you think at this point, what we need is a leader, a president that can fix all these problems. Because it is no longer a time for partisan politics. When you will say, I am in Zele Labour Party, I am in PDP, I am in APC. No. The time has come for us to sit down together at the very first time in this country to be united on common purpose. And I want to tell INEC this time around to ensure that they become that umpire, unbiased umpire, that what transpires in the field is what they will announce, so that we can restart Nigeria again.
But having some party members being inaugurated or suggested, the president is suggesting that some of them are going to be part of the INEC. Don't you think that might be a cause of concern to some Nigerians?
I don't understand. Party members.
Yes, some people. There are some people alleged, according to Serap, that some people were
partisan.
Yes,
are now recruited.
Yeah, to be part of INEC
to manage the
affairs
election as umpires. You can't be a judge in your own case. If that allegation is true, it is a dent on our democratic integrity. You don't expect a referee to be wearing the jersey of one of the teams is officiating.
Okay.
If he's doing that, then you have 12 players in the field. He's definitely going to. He won't officiate against himself. He will officiate to project his interest. So if that is true, I will advise INEC to quickly purge itself of that obvious bias. That tendency must not be condoned under any guise.
Okay, Bishop Akaleme actually talked about insecurity, and there was a time the governor of Kaduna State came up and said some part of his state has been taken over by bandits and these insurgents. And there has been discordant voices that election might not hold in some areas. What's your opinion on that, Barrister?
About election not holding
in some areas. Do you think
on ground of insecurity?
Yes, on the ground of insecurity. Do you see the election holding, considering the achievements our security agency have been achieving?
I don't know if they specifically mentioned the location where the project election may not hold. As far as we are concerned as citizens, our expectation is the election will hold across the length and breadth of the country. INEC has registered people across the country. People have collected their PVC across the country. I do not know why anybody, or INEC for that matter, will be suggesting.
It wasn't INEC. From the statement of a sitting governor and some other concerns Nigeria now feel if a governor...
The sitting governor? Who was that governor?
The governor of Kaduna State. He said some part of his state has been taken over by bandits.
Has he considered the fact that he's no longer in charge of the state? If he's saying that, then he's not qualified and competent to remain as a governor, or to have resigned. If he's opening his mouth to say his state is now overrun by non-state actors to the extent that election might not hold, how is he able to govern the state with his mandate that is given to him through the electoral process? The first way to demonstrate that he's no longer in charge is to throw in the towel and resign. It should not raise a false flag that election might not hold. If he has other ulterior motive, we should say so. If he can rule that state as a governor, then election should be able to hold in that state without any let or hindrance. He cannot beguile the people by saying election may not hold in some areas. If he had tendency to manipulate the process, it will be resisted because Nigerians are no longer ready to take nonsense from any saboteur.
Let's quickly come back to Bishop Akaleme. Bishop, PDP has been in power for 16 years, and APC, they actually have the day now. But do you think we should still give mandates to people we have trusted before to continue in power?
Thank you very much. You see, the question I just asked is the problem we are having today in Nigeria. Partisan politics. When I started, I told you, I said, this time, it is the time for Nigerians to be united on common purpose, irrespective of your political affiliation. Doesn't matter whether you belong to PDP, APC, ZLP, or a third party. What we need now is a leader that have the following qualities. Capacity. You must have integrity. That leader must be educated, well-read, literate. That leader must have the quality of communication, being able to communicate to your people. And we must have a leader that understands the problems of Nigeria. A leader who understands the dynamics of our economy. A leader who can think out of the box. A leader who is a great thinker. We need great thinkers. We need leaders who are not biased. The leader is a unifier, somebody who can bring us together. You see, and age must also play a predominant role. We don't need people who are old. If you go to economics, there's a law called the law of diminishing returns. It affects everything. Maybe we don't understand. Why we feel so people will say, come on, how old was the president of the US when he was president? Yes, I told them, I said, they get better when they get old because they reach. But you see this part of this world, we don't reach. Because when you reach, your mind becomes new. Your brain becomes new. But because we don't reach this part of the world, we say, once your age, you are not growing, you will not get to a certain age, the law of diminishing return will not set in. That means you are not about to complete the cycle. You get a baby, you become a youth, now you are not adult. In that old age you are in, then you begin to behave the way you used to behave when you were a child. Then you can no longer think. We need somebody who can wake up, be awake, and think the problem, think Nigeria out of the point we're having today. So, not until we find a leader that have this quality, it doesn't matter where it's come from. Whether the leader, that president will come from another party, different from PDP, APC, we go. Because Nigeria needs to be rebranded. But where we are today, the picture is not good at all. In every indice is pointing at all what is happening to Nigeria today. Discover that we are Nigeria, that if the time is not taken, we just wake up one day and discover that we don't have a country again. Let's look at education. There's no need to write way back. Let's look at the health sector. We have deficit medical equipment, and our medical doctors are not being attended to. Their welfare is not taken care of. As a result, there is exodus of our brain. They are not moving out of the country. Even as we speak right now, lecturers are already migrating. They are moving out of the country because when you have a country, we have leaders who do not pay attention to education. And I show you a country that is ready to fail. Because there's no country that can grow without education. Because we say that education give that opportunity of economic growth and development. So when you see leaders who do not pay attention to education, that country can never grow. Because right where we are now, we're not moving towards information and knowledge economies. So if we don't go to school, we cannot revive the economy today, because everything we see today in Nigeria, in the world, is a product of education.
Okay.
Children are still at home. For the past 6 months, nobody is talking about that. If you go to the health sector, now if you get to the hospital right now, you don't have money to give to the doctor. They will not, a lot of people die today because there is no provision for fund to take care of people who do not have money. They downtrodden, the poor masses. So we need leaders who can solve all these things. We cannot travel again in Nigeria. You know how many invitations I got this period. I did not honor anyone. I cannot go. These are my people. I can't go because the road is very what? It's very dangerous. The road is not even good for the past how many days now? Since on Monday till now, no movement.
You were to receive an award by a particular group.
Good. You can't travel because insecurity. The road is bad. It's as if we don't have leaders, and they are seeing all these things with their optical eyes, but yet they can't do anything.
Okay.
This time, we need to be united.
Let's come back now to Barrister Matthew. Barrister Matthew, the 4 major flag bearers of some of the, should I call them now the frontliners of the political parties, talking about NNPP. Kwankwaso has been 2-time governor. Peter Obi of the Labour Party has been a governor. Bola Ahmed Siwaju Tinubu has been a governor too of Lagos State. I think the only person who was only a vice president is Atiku Abubakar. Now, should we try these people again? Because they've been in power at one point or the other. Should these people be given the opportunity to come back again at the apex office? Or should Nigerians look forward to having a fresh hands running the affairs of this country? Barrister Matthew.
What we should look out for in terms of the quality of our would-be president is not necessarily going to be experience, but capacity, competence, and sincerity of purpose demonstrated in the past. You mentioned 3 of the frontrunners who were former governors of their various states. We look at their performance while they were there. That is not the sole criteria to judge their readiness for this office. It is their current form. Their current form is more important, it's paramount. What is their state of health, their physical fitness? What is their liability, moral liability? Are they found wanting in terms of having their fingers soiled with public treasury while they were governors in their various states? If we look at these two criteria, then we are close to picking a very wise choice as to who should lead Nigeria next. Then we look, another important criteria is what are they bringing to the table? What have they told the country, the citizen that they want to offer? Is it because they feel they are entitled to be president, they must be president? Is their ambition anchored on naked desire to become president at all costs? Do they have any fresh vision that can turn the fortune of the nation, which is sinking rapidly, around for the better? So if we find these indices domiciled in any of the candidates, then we are good to go with that choice.
Okay, let's come back now to Bishop Akaleme. It will not be difficult to say that we need to rebuild our nation again. It won't be difficult to say that. But what form of approach should we use in rebuilding our nation again?
One is a true mate of good leaders. A true mate of good leaders. We need good leaders in Nigeria. And in doing that, everybody had to be disciplined.
Everybody
had to be disciplined. Because the election in Nigeria have been monetized. It has to be for those money bags. When you have money, it doesn't matter whether you have something to bring to the table. You are good to go. That's what has brought us to where we are today. How will you vote for a man that has no mental capacity, that don't have the mental assets, that don't have the education, the mandate to lead you? When you do that, you see yourself complaining. It's not doing well. How can it do well? A man cannot give what he does not have. Name of that will not happen. It's what you have, you give. You vote for a man who does not have capacity because he has given you little that cannot serve you for 2 days. So the idea of Electoral is going to the field to collect 2,000 naira in exchange for poverty, in exchange for suffering, agony, has to stop. If we are not disciplined this time around, we will make another mistake again. But let me tell you the mind of those people. They believe that the people are poor, the people are suffering, and that is what they have, that is the foundation they have left for the country. That by the time we make them impoverished, by the time we make them poor, when we are coming to the office, whatever we offer to them, they will collect and say, give us our votes. If somebody, however, said one day that I don't need to fix the road, I don't need to deliver to the people the dividend of democracy, I'll keep the money. When it is time for election, I will bring out the money, I'll give the 5,000 and they will vote for me. You see the mindset? So this time around, we have to prove them wrong. People don't vote. They don't vote. That's why I invited them. You see all these youth now on social media. Some of them, they will not go home. Go home. And I'm happy now, the drive, the majority of them have actually go to the field to get their PVC. Another thing again is that they must do is that now that you'll be motivated to get your PVC, during the election, go back home. Go to your village. Because once you have your PVC, you are a custodian of power. Go and vote for that right candidate. And I want to urge everybody that this time around, there's need for us to listen to all the candidates. It doesn't matter. Being a presidential candidate of PDP does not make you a qualified candidate. Being a presidential candidate of APC does not make you the most qualified. And I can tell you, the most qualified candidate, you can find them in other smaller parties you see today. But what we need to do is that let's give them the opportunity.
Does manifesto matter?
Yeah, and let's give them the opportunity to talk to Nigeria. We want to hear them. Let them say to us what they have for the country. In that case, like media house like you, like all the media houses, all the platforms, should organize debates for all the candidates, and they talk. America discovered Obama in a debate. So this is the man we are looking for. This is the man we have been waiting for, and he was voted for, and he did not do anything wrong to make America regret the vote they gave to him. That is where we are now.
Okay.
Because sentiments will not work this time around.
Okay.
Money, I will tell them, collect the money and don't vote for them.
Okay, let's come back. We have a legal practitioner, and I'm very sure he's going to help us out. Now, vote buying has been a major cankerworm in our polity. As a legal practitioner, is there any provision of the law that states that those who try to buy votes should be punished?
Of course. It is a corrupt act. Every corrupt practice is an offense against the people and the law of the land.
Every corrupt practice?
Yes, it's a corrupt practice. Votes are supposed to be cast as a matter of civic responsibility. It's not a transactional thing. It's not a trade fair. You don't go there to buy and sell votes. It's not a stock exchange market. Votes are not sellable. They are not buyable items. So if you are doing that, you are already sabotaging the electoral process. You are monetizing it. Civic duty is civic. It's not a opportunity to make money. So when you are selling votes, you are committing a crime. It's an offense. You that is buying, you are also committing a crime against the electoral laws and the constitution of this country. The law that says you have the right to sell your franchise, they don't say you have the right to sell your franchise. So sales of votes, it's a criminal act.
But we saw what played out in the primaries, where some of the major political parties, we heard they were actually giving money to the representative who came for the election, and yet we've not heard anything. EFCC were there and other security agency, but no arrests have been made. Flag bearers are already flagging up their campaigns and all that. Don't you think we are missing it somewhere?
If somebody commits a crime and is not caught, doesn't make the crime permissible. There is always this idea that every day for the thief, one day for the owner.
Okay.
And we look forward to that day that these political criminals will be apprehended and made to face the law.
Okay.
And I think we are pushing for the enactment of very stringent criminal law that will take care of electoral malpractices, so that we can prosecute people, offenders of these laws should be sent to prison to do long term, so that the society will be sanitized. And we should get rid of this nuisance, because they are not helping the system. Every vote that is sold is a conscience sold. And once you don't vote with conscience, you're going to vote misfits into power. And when misfits are in charge of our destiny, we are in a mess. The best way to clear the stage of this whole leadership failures is to elect people who are responsible into offices. Anybody buying votes is ab initio not a responsible candidate.
Citizen, okay.
It's already having the criminal intent. And a criminal cannot produce the results of a patriot. So vote buying is not only an offense, it is a sacrilegious act against democracy and the principle and tenets of the concept of democracy.
All right, Bishop Akeleme, should ethnicity and religion be the strong consideration for 2023 election?
That is a very tough one. You know, why it will work this time around is that, you know, Nigeria is very big, a very large country. And we don't have a particular, and made up of Muslims and Christians. And in the past, not even in the past, that's what is even happening right now. The major political parties, they put this thing into cognizance. What gave birth to the federal character? It's because everybody have to, the system has to be balanced. One side has to be lopsided. So, there's a particular party now that have the Muslim ticket. And you can see that a lot of people are already talking that it doesn't work that way. Nigeria is not a Muslim country. We have a lot of religion. We even have the traditionalists. They are there. But since we have the major dominant religion, which is Muslim and Christian, if you are bringing a ticket, it has to be Muslim and what? Christian's ticket. So, it's
but we still have the traditional worshippers.
Yes.
What now happened to them?
Yeah, no. That's why I told you, I said major.
Okay.
That's why I said major. That one is silent, major. And let me tell you something. Those ones you see today, most of them are still Christians. Some of them are Christians. They go to church too. If you don't know, most of them go to church. Some are even going to the mosque too. So there are very few sites. But if you must do anything, you should recognize ethnicism. Then you recognize religion in making any decision. So if you are taking a decision and that decision is favoring one particular religion or one ethnic group, you are already making a mistake, a very big one for that matter. So the Christians are already angry. They are talking already. You don't expect people who were not captured, who were not recognized, who were not given the opportunity in a ticket to vote for that ticket.
Do you share any thoughts, Barrister Matthew?
The principle of federalism, talking about the federal character principle, which is entrenched in our constitution, provide for balancing the equilibrium. There should be fairness and equal distribution of powers and opportunities across the various interest groups, both ethnic, religious, or even geographical location. That is how a federation is run. A lopsided arrangement that tends to push patronage to a particular group at the detriment of other groups is not healthy for our federation.
Okay. Now, there's some political parties have been getting huge support from the younger generation. Now, with this support these political parties are getting from the younger generation, do you foresee a third force clinching the highest office in the country?
If you are looking at the demography, the population, age distribution of population, you will know that in most parts of the world, except a country that has aging population, the youths are in overwhelming majority. So if this overwhelming majority demography are now pushing their interest towards a particular direction politically, that definitely is a decider. It's a game of numbers. Majority will carry the day. There is no magic that will make minority defeat the majority in a clear contest under a democracy, except there is vicious manipulation, which the people of Nigeria are willing and ready to resist this time around. INEC has been given a caveat. They have been notified, they will put on notice that this election must not only be free and fair, it must be credible and must be seen to be free and fair in all ramifications. So if the youth are pushing their agenda towards and through a particular political formation, definitely that is the game changer.
Okay. Talking about
because they have the numbers.
They do.
Yes.
Now 75% of them actually register.
If they participate in the electoral process to the fullest, they actually come out to vote as they are now practically involved. No miracle will stop them from having their way.
Irrespective of the time these other old folks have been on ground.
Your being on ground for a long time does not add value to your electoral, to your franchise. It's one man, one vote. You are entitled to one vote no matter how old you are. It's not a question that you have, it's not like company share, where you have a superior share and an inferior share. A young teenager of 18 years who is a registered voter has one vote. You that is 80-something years and you have a registered voter, has a voter's card, you are entitled to one vote. So if you add 18-year votes, 75%, then 80-something-year-old votes, 2%. You should ordinarily know where the victory will go.
Okay. Let me come back now to Bishop Akhaleme. An elder statesman in the country made a statement. He said those clamoring for some of this party, they are just handful in one room operating the internet. But away from that, we have seen youth coming out in their numbers, clamoring for change, pushing their support for a particular candidate. Do you think at the end of the day, during the elections, just like this elder statesman said, it will just be an internet thing? It won't reflect in the election?
No. Number one, I'm an accountant. There's what is called evidential documents. We don't believe in any transaction, anything that has happened, any event, without evidence.
Evidential document in accounting, and the lawyers would say it's an exhibit.
Yeah. So, if somebody said those people who are operating, they should not be more than 10 people.
Yeah, just handful in a room.
It's just a presumption.
Okay.
It's a presumption. You cannot say that. Because what I've seen, I see a revolution. Not revolution that will take blood. No. A revolution in the poll. That is why I told you just now that those youths you are seeing today supporting a particular candidate, what they need to do to back it up is that they should go to INEC office if they have not registered, or if they have registered, let them get their PVC. And if you get your PVC, does not mean that you have completed the job. The next thing is that if your unit is in your village and you're in Benin, begin to keep money aside there for transportation, so that few days before election, move to your village and vote for that candidate. Not until these youths develop this mindset of having their PVC, not just talking on social media, not just becoming an internet target, having your PVC, go to your units and cast your votes, then there will be a problem. I think that is what the other statement we was talking about, because you know that over the years, majority of our youth have never had interest in politics, and at the reason are not far-fetched. They feel that the vote do not count. So if they cast the vote for the right candidates, at the end of the day, what transpires in the field will not be what we see in the result. No, as a result, they have lost interest completely. And as a matter of fact, the youth are not becoming along in the scheme of things. Look at all the forms that various political parties sold in the election. How will you be selling a ticket, a presidential ticket, for 100 million naira? How many youth will be able to buy it? Time has passed these days where you used to see companies coming to school to look for prospective graduate to employ. So
really after graduation.
Because the population have increased over the years. As at where the number of jobs are available. Now, many of the polytechnic students today, they now have money program, afternoon program, and weekend program. And if you look at it very well, the number of students they have in the morning session, which emanate from JAM, is even lesser than the one they
have in SPATs and weekend program.
The afternoon program. The afternoon program have about times 2 times 3 of what they have in the morning session. Then weekend again they have another program. Now look at the number of people coming out from those programs, and what are the jobs? So these youth who have been in the labor market for a very long time, parents saw them through school. After graduation, the same parents will still be taking care of them. Is it the same youth that will to buy a ticket for 100 million naira? So the youth are angry. They are so angry. So if they want that anger to manifest, that anger should manifest in their polling unit, in their polling booth. Let them cast that, what I say, a revolution in the polling, in the poll. So if they can do all these things, then we cannot say that we are headed towards having a better Nigeria. Because if the number of youth that the barrister just said just now, which is very hard to win an election, if they don't do the needful and come together like broom, where we are going to be, looking at all these candidates right now, where we are now will be better than where we are going to be if the needful is not done.
But do you think they are being fair to the youth? There was a time they signed this not too young to run bill, and are the youth ready, actually ready, to take over the baton of leadership?
When you say not too young to run, they should have added 2 oaths to run to balance the psychology. You can't say none too young to run, then you allow people who are supposed to be breaking kola nut in their various villages upon their retirement to remain as contestants for political offices. Judging by the fact that they have acquired so much wealth over the time, most of them acquired this wealth in the most vilest of all manners, by looting public treasury, by cornering all the opportunities meant for all of us. So if one man, there's a parable in my native land that if community cooks pounded yam for one man, he will eat so much that there will be more left over than what he ate. But if one man cooks for the community, there's likely to be no leftover.
Of course, there won't be leftover.
So most of these people, they are in custody of the community or communal pounded yam.
Okay.
Which is meant for everybody. So if you say a farm will go for 1 billion, they have the money. But the so-called not too young to run targeted beneficiary of that bill do not even have 100,000 naira in their savings account.
Don't you think we have youths that are capable? So we have youths that have that.
You don't have the youths who will make that kind of money genuinely.
Okay.
No youth will have 100 million naira to throw to buy a phone.
Expatiate.
Let me ask you, how many graduates in your set have 50 million naira in their account to play with?
Well, you wouldn't know. Money, they say, doesn't speak.
I'm asking you, you should know. You should know your motto and I'm multi-billionaires.
Of course.
I don't have a billionaire in my set, as old as I am, yet. But you have billionaires.
Among your class.
Yes, you have billionaires among these old people who have billions in dollars, in hard currency and local to play with. You don't have them in your generation like that. If you have a hush puppy, that is not it's not the advertisement. It's not the face of our generation.
Okay.
That is not the kind of money you need to run the system.
So I say we have youths that don't have such an amount.
You can't make that kind of money genuinely under the current Nigerian setting. Okay. You can't honestly make that kind of money. And an honest youth with a vision to fix Nigeria doesn't have that kind of money.
So if an honest youth with a vision to fix the country now emerge,
let me tell you, what I'm driving at is this. The cost is outrageous.
Okay.
It's a disincentive for youth participation in politics and the contest. And two, the youth has an opportunity now, they have an opportunity now to take charge of their destiny. They don't have to be permitted to participate in the management of their destiny through political participation and holding offices. Let them take it as of right. The best way to achieve that is through this corridor of mass participation in this forthcoming election. Let them take over the process by voting leaders who will genuinely put them in the picture, not just as followers, but as partners in this leadership business.
Okay.
If they find such a candidate, they should put their weight behind him, push him into power, and project their agenda through that corridor.
Okay.
So that by tomorrow, we are not talking of not you want to run, we are talking of equal opportunities for everybody who is willing and equal access to that opportunity.
Okay.
That is the way to go.
All right, let's come back now to Bishop. Bishop Akaleme, over time we've seen party flag bearers running around the former president Olusegun Obasanjo. But he has actually said that he's not interested in politics. But we've seen times without number he's been hanging out with some of them. Recently he met with IBB and Abdulsalami Abubakar recently. Do you think there's a form of endorsement cooking somewhere? Or should we believe that Obasanjo is not interested in politics and he's not going to endorse anybody?
You see, Obasanjo is a character that we should not underrate in Nigerian politics. He has been there. He understands our problems. And he knows everybody. He knows their capacity. because directly or indirectly he has worked with them. And he's a national leader. And it's not just respected here in Nigeria, but respected all over the world. Somebody like Obasanjo cannot be alive and see that the country he actually built is collapsing without doing anything.
From 1999, he's been there.
He'll be there. I can tell you when he was there, life was better 100% than what it is today. Well, I know that you cannot satisfy every human being, that human needs are insatiable. But as at the time he was there, life was better. Now, I love the decision he has taken. He does not belong to any political party. Now, what he's looking for is national agenda. When he says it's just for national agenda, I know he means it. But let me tell you something, you cannot always say that he does not have a preferred candidate. He does. There are few personalities in Nigeria, they are not more than 10 in this country. We call them kingmakers. They come together to give their support to candidates of their choice.
So who are these persons?
IBB is there.
Okay.
General Abubakar is there. Salam. Himself is there. We still have so many of them. Even for now, in the South, is the only prominent one in the South for the now. Now, he has a preferred candidate. And I can tell you, with what I've seen, consultation is ongoing. Some time ago, the General Ibrahim Babangida made a statement that the kind of leader Nigeria needs now must not be more than 60 years.
Don't you think he just said that just for interview's sake?
No. And he said something. Let me tell you what he said. He said it should not be more than 60 years. And he now said 50 years experience is not needed now in solving Nigeria problems. That experience you have, the problem he could solve some time ago, some years back, can no longer solve, that strategy can no longer solve the 21st century problems facing us now. We need new knowledge.
So are you saying from every indication, Peter will be, because he's been with him for a while, they've been seen more than 2-3 times.
For now, we should not be faster than our shadow. But what I do know is that the Obasanjo I know will never support Atiku. The Obasanjo I know, you know, when he was the president of this country, all the allocation to Lagos State were never released. So there will be trouble between him and the candidate of the APC. So you can see that he will never support.
From the body language.
From the body language. But what he wants to do is that there's coalition going on. We have to interface with all the candidates. And then see. Because those people have ulterior motives, personal reasons why they want to become president in this country will not win this election. We need people who want to actually come and fix Nigeria for us. What are keeping us like today? We have hunters, political hunters. They don't care who is coming in, who is coming to take power. What they are after is that after this election, I should be able to accumulate up to 20 million so I can do that house, buy that new car. That is their target. It doesn't matter what comes out. But they are forgetting that no matter the amount of money you have accumulated, irrespective of the amount you have in your bank, if you don't have a good leader that understands the economies, that money will not have value. Inflation will kill the money in your pocket. It will not buy anything. Because the roof will fall on all of us. It will not say, oh, this man is in APC. Let's leave him. Palestine belongs to APC. Let's go.
I can't be APC.
I did have that is the Matthew.
I am not APC.
That's very fast. You need to allow him.
No, this is something that should not be blackmailed.
It's not that blackmail.
So let's come to Bishop, because Bishop does not belong to PDP APC.
Okay.
Let the roof collapse on him.
The
roof will collapse on everybody.
Okay.
That's why I said everybody have to make sure we work together now.
Okay.
Let's look for these people. Let's look at those who have ulterior motive, those who actually mean well for this country, who want to fix Nigeria. These are the kind of leaders we want to vote for. We talk about youth. The youth do not have the capacity. I'm not talking about mental capacity. The financial capacity.
So he actually said.
Yes. You know why I said it? I am a state chairman of a political party, the Labour Party, in the state. In this election, our national chairman actually make it clear that if you are a youth of the age of 30 to 35. 25 to 35. Please come. The nomination form is free. Just pay for the intent.
Really?
Yes. If you are going for governorship, now, you just need to pay 2.5 million. Only that is the intent. You go as a youth who is between 35 to between 30 to 35.
And he goes unopposed.
Yes. No. If I have about 3 persons that want to do that party, you go for primaries. But you see, the 10 million naira you have to pay, which is the nomination form, have been waived. Like if you are going for Senate, where you're supposed to have paid about 1.5 million, you will not pay about 350. You see that one? So in that case, they have been giving the point to the youth to do that. But what is happening? The youth don't even have the money to pay for the intent.
Okay.
Even to print posters, so they don't have it. But they want to participate. That is where we are today in the country.
Barrister, let's quickly come to Barrister Matthew now. There's a serious rift between Wike, who is like a political bride now. Do you think the PDP actually offended him? Remember, he lost out in the primaries, and that was the genesis of the whole problem. What do you think is the way out for PDP as we begin to wrap up?
PDP did not pay me as a consultant to help them
you're a political analyst.
maneuver their troubled ship out of troubled waters.
Okay.
But out of altruistic inclination, and because ITV has asked me to say to intervene,
you're an analyst.
I will try my best to try to analyze what is happening there. I think as for Wike has been a strong advocate of power should shift to the south, even before the PDP convention, which was eventually a festival of dollar exchange, where a lot of money was thrown into the contest.
Okay.
And the highest bidder emerged the winner, and happened to be from the other side, where the power had been domiciled for the past 8 years. So if Wike was among the southern governors who were signatory to that Asaba declaration that power is the turn of the South to be the president of this country come 2023, I think that resolution still resonates in his own inner mind that it ought to be the turn of the South. So I think that itself is a driving force that is pushing his resistance to Atiku Abubakar candidacy.
Okay.
That is fundamental.
All right.
Then secondly, from what played out at the PDP convention, where the incumbent party chairman, Iyocha Ayu, professor, is doctor, immediately the dust was here to settle after the convention. He ran to Tambuwa and declared hero of the convention.
Okay.
The reason being that he stepped down for Wike's opponent. And that is supposed to be an umpire. So that statement itself
send the wrong signal.
We not go down with Wike. He has put himself out as somebody who was partisan.
All right.
So Wike has every reason to be aggrieved.
Okay, thank you so much, Barrister Matthew Diagase, Bishop Akademe. So good to have you on set. I will quickly take a short pause now and join Solomon Aina as he takes us through the Breakfast Sports segment. Don't go nowhere.